I can't believe that we still have to wait 4 more nights until we have a game in this series to watch. It's really starting to drag on. I'm ready for it to start today. Maybe last night.
Tuesday night would be
I feel like last night would have been too soon. Tonight, perfect. Let's get it going.
Tonight or Tuesday.
All right. Thursday night with an 8:30 tip at TD Garden. Quick question before we get into Kyrie again. Mm-hmm. Will 8:30 really mean 8:30?
No.
No shot.
Or will 8:30 mean 8:50?
8:43 or 47.
Think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't they just call it 9 o'clock like they used to?
Because it feels better when they tell you it's at 8:30 and not 9. I think that's what it is. That's what I think they do.
It's awful.
Yeah. Late games for the NBA Finals. Players have started talking about their time. A lot of availability, by the way. I feel like every day we're hearing from the Celtics, which is nice. Mm-hmm. They've talked about Kyrie Irving's time in Boston. How would you describe Kyrie's time in Boston if you could do so in just a couple of words?
Disappointing, incomplete. Never got to see him as a real player. That was a couple words for you. Like, disappointing. I would say disappointing.
Yeah, to sum it up in a sentence, it started out great.
Yep.
Yeah. It started out great, and it ended in a pretty awful way and got pretty tumultuous.
Unfinished business. Yeah.
It's basically how that went. It was great in the beginning. It really was.
Other words, jolted. Jolted the fan base after that sit down with Scal. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to resign here. Yeah. No, you didn't.
No, he did not.
Get healthy for an All-Star game.
How should Celtics players feel about his time here?
They should be pissed. They should be pissed.
I would like them to act like the 08 team acted. You know, when Ray Allen left. Give it a while before you even talk to the guy or be friends with him. I know that Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen have sort of, dusted it up, cleaned a relationship up out of respect for Kevin Garnett getting his jersey put into the rafters. But don't just be best friends all of a sudden. Oh, yeah, he's great, man. Yeah, I learned a lot from him when he was here. I don't want to hear that this week. I don't want to hear this week what you learned from him. Because, you're your own player now. You're the Eastern Conference champ. They're a 5th seed. Act like it. Act like you're the favorite. Don't be afraid.
My guess is you're not going to like what Jason Tatum said about Kyrie.
What did he say? Here. And he's the problem with it.
Yeah, obviously it was some ups and downs, but I think for me being a first, second-year player, being around a superstar essentially every day, and seeing how to navigate that space. And then, obviously on the court, he's one of the most talented guys I've ever seen. So, seems like a very long time ago, but there's I got a lot of great memories, from having Kai as a teammate. Just learning that being on such a talented team that it's not just talent that's going to take you over the top, right? You have to have guys that are willing to sacrifice, guys that are willing to do the other things in order for the team to have a chance. And it wasn't just it wasn't a Kyrie thing. It was all of us. We all took part in why that season wasn't a success. And we all learned from it. We all moved on. Some of us stayed here, other guys left, and have done great things, since that season. So I just look at that as a learning experience, for my second year.
I don't mind anything he said there.
It wasn't over-the-top adulation. He's just giving you a little timeline rundown as what he is as a player, what he meant to me. But about the sacrifices, and you mentioned Tatum's minutes last week. He's playing a ton of minutes, and we talked about the sore wrist. Maybe he's going through some stuff that he learned how to push once he became a pro. Did Kyrie not push enough? Remember when he was hurt? He was mending the knee, and it was a legit thing. But he's going to play in the All-Star game. He missed those games around it, but he played in the All-Star game. That's when you really got pissed at him.
Is that the superstar you want to model yourself after?
No,
but I don't know if he's necessarily saying that either, though, because he kind of talks about how we learned not to do things.
The part about the second year was we learned a lesson about how not to go about doing your business and how not to underachieve. and how not to be a 4th seed when you have the roster that you had going into the playoffs in 19. I think that's what he's basically saying. I think he's saying what I would say, which was, hey, it started out great, and then it went to crap real quick. You went from the start of that season at that season ticket holder event that Zoe mentioned, where he's telling the crowd, I'm going to be here. They then end up having a season that's disappointing along the way, and by February you had the incident at the All-Star game where he's in the hallway saying 2 max slots, which, by the way, was a total plant.
Yeah.
And was done on purpose in front of the camera. That's my belief. And you also had him publicly saying, I don't know anybody, bleep. Talk to me July 1. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that soured really quickly, and that team was all kinds of dysfunctional. And so Tatum says there was a lesson learned in there about how not to be like that team.
And probably something in that whole dynamic really started to push Stevens to maybe not want to be a coach.
I would agree with that.
Not that it's that one singular thing, but you deal with a lot with
that
NBA
planted
players.
The seed.
Yeah, it's sort of like, man, if I can't get this guy to play, I got no shot. I can pick players, but now it's going to be up to somebody else to go make them play. That's Joe. And Brad's done a good job getting elevated to the front office. But like, look at the historical perspective there, as it's lined up. You're doing something with this guy on an everyday basis. And I thought, the guy to look up to was Kobe. I thought that was his guy. I thought that was Tatum's guy.
Well, and to your point about Stevens, too, like those Bridgie Celtics, it was all about like X's and O's, coaching the guys up, right? That was the first, like, hey, manage the egos and deal with superstars. That's probably when he was like, you know what? If we're actually going to get to a championship level with these guys, this is not the job. This is not the job I want.
Well, he had real talent on his roster, and then your expectations are you got to manage the talent and coach the team.
Yep.
There are 2 things that you have to do there. I just look at the Celtics now and think about how different they feel from the Celtics of 5 years ago. From a professionalism standpoint, they have none of that nonsense. Is that appreciated enough about this team? They don't have all the bullcrap that typically comes with egomaniacal NBA superstars. They don't have those guys.
Yep. You really don't. You've added actually good guys. Porzingis is a good guy. Drew Holiday. How many times we talk about him? The professionalism that he's brought to this team.
For sure.
And he eliminated smart. Home run, home run, home run. That's allowed these guys to grow.
And as I've said multiple times in recent weeks, the subtraction of Marcus Smart has helped in this regard.
Huge.
They are more professional as a group than they were a year ago. The clown show that was calling out the head coach in the middle of a playoff run about how he's learning. I mean, you would never have a guy on this team doing that now. That would not happen. And Marcus Smart did that to a coach who defends his players at every single turn. That's what he does. He is not Ime Udoka. Ime used to call guys out at the podium. Not Missoula's style. And yet here he was in the playoffs a year ago getting called out by one of his players. So I think they're different from a year ago, and I think they are universes apart from where they were 5 years ago. They are. If you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.